Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm the scrapbooking photographer, Linda is my name, and today I am taking part in a coast-to-coast collaboration with some other ladies around the world. The theme of the coast-to-coast collaboration is to follow prompts that are drawn in advance from the Story by Stacy deck of cards. This month, the 4 different categories are home, so childhood home, family home, first home, neighbourhood, home improvement, yard or hometown. So my pictures are going to follow the building of our most recent Chook house. Then we've got a screenshot, social media, idea, inspiration, picture of a picture, meme, text conversation or video still. So as part of looking for the kit for the Chook house, did a lot of Googling. So I just printed this out on my sprocket because I don't want it to take up too much room, but this was what we were looking for. The main reason we needed to change the Chook house is because I wanted one that I could walk in to clean. So here is one standing up. All our previous ones have been low to the ground, and I'm just a bit sick of crawling in the chicken stuff to clean it out. So this one I can stand up and walk into it. So I googled walk-in Chook houses and got these different things to look up, and we found a kit set in a local timber yard that produced that. So that's my inspiration screenshot. Circles or stripes, we can mix or match, create your own, stamps, die cuts, stickers, shakers, borders, embellishments. So I'm going to use a few stripes throughout, and layers. Well, I'll be layering the paper. You'll notice on here there is a hashtag. So if you search hashtag C2CJUL23, you'll find everybody else who is taking part in this hop with the same prompts. As at the time of filming, I can tell you that there are 3 others apart from me. There's Amanda Ross, who has a channel called Crafting with Amanda. And then there's Barbie Aldrich Kelly, who has Barbie's Paper Creations, and Dana Terry, who has Designs by Dana. So make sure you check those ladies out. They'll be on the playlist, which I'll provide a link for underneath. And anybody else who joins us from now onwards will also be on that playlist. So plenty of inspiration to look at there. So let's get started. As I mentioned, I've got these photos. Now I have cut some of them down because there was a lot of periphery that we didn't need. So I have cut some down to squares. So I've got those. The papers I'm using are from the Hope and Kindness Coordinating Cardstock. So a real stash bash today. And these die cuts, also part of the Hope and Kindness, but funnily enough, I just received them last week in my VIP bonus bundle. They may come in very useful today. So I've also cut out some things on my Cricut from the Hey Handsome digital artwork pack. So just because they were tools, and I'm not sure I can use that, but I found some chickens also on the Cricut Access files. So I've got some things there to play with. I have played with these photos and I've tried them on different backgrounds, and I wasn't sure whether I wanted to frame the white and cut it down or what, but I have decided in the end to go with a double page layout on white with primarily the contrasting colours of this craft paper looking brown, but it has some stripes on the other side which I will use, and this coordinating green, which I just think is a gorgeous colour. Because we're layering, one of the prompts was to layer, and I've got actually quite a few photos, so I need to find somewhere to start. So I thought, well, this is the end one and I really need it to be able to see it, and the other one at the end is of the Chook house close up. So not quite layering but overlapping. I guess that's layering, and I'll put layers of paper behind them as well. So that's what I started with, and that's kind of the end of the story. Going to the beginning of the story, I had a similar mirror effect with this picture of the floor having been dug into the ground. The dog's paying a lot of attention, of course. And to go with that one, I thought this of the first wall being propped up before it's secured with the screws, and that kind of mirrors that there. So then I'm left with these, and this is what prompted me to make some of these into squares, because I thought what I could do is just have these as sort of process shots. So those are as it builds, and these are very much at the beginning. One of our dogs who was paying a lot of attention to what was going on. And then I've got this, which I will put in the middle on a square of its own there. So that is the basic layout. So when you take a picture like this, it's got the watercolour and the green. When you play with the different mounts, I'm going to double mount it, and I think that way round works the best because it gives you a little break between this green and that green. So I'm going to mount them in the watercolour first and then outline them both with the green. So this is what I mean by that. So I have just overlapped that photo slightly there with them both mounted in the watercolour and then both on the green there. So I'm going to mirror that up here. Now I've cut that one out. Rather than get the other sheet of this paper out, just going to make sure that when I do it, I overlap it that much. So I've stuck this down, and as you can see, I have got this little bit overhanging, which is going to tuck in under here. And I've just lined it up on top of the one that I've already done so that I can use it as a guide to get this other one about the same height. Okay, and I'll trim that up. So once you've done that piece, I can start to get an idea of how I want the rest of it to look. So I bring in this striped paper, and one option is to go all out with it, but I think that's a bit too much. So in the end, I trim it to a border of 3 inches. And I do the same for the other side, which gives a nice balanced effect. And then the back of that paper is the natural colour. So I can make a strip for the 2 sets of 3 photos. One at the top on the right and the one at the bottom on the left. So with our little piece of Google, I'm just going to mount that onto the green, and because it's from a sprocket, it's on adhesive sticky paper. So I've popped that on the green, and then just to highlight a little bit, I'm going to add in a white square behind it, so that keeps it uniform with the other squares on that strip of paper, and a little space for journaling underneath. I'm going to bring a little bit more stripe in here, so just with one of the offcuts, I've made 2 strips the same height as the photos and can just tuck them in next to them there so that that balances. Now that little bit I just showed you is where my trimmer went a bit AWOL, so I'm just covering that little mistake with a hammer. And then dry fitting the saw, I think it's best on the right because it seems to be facing that way. So I can stick that down before coming on to doing the title. The title I want to do in a pennant, so I'll cut up with my scissors in the middle and then from each corner to make the little pennant tag. For stamping the title, I'm using Stacy's hand,
and even that alphabet doesn't have enough O's for Chook house, so I do have a gap in the Chook where I've moved the O to house, so I can come back and fill in that gap. Above that I'll stamp a new, and I've used the evergreen ink to do that because it seems to be the best match for the paper, and it just fits nicely in there, covering some of those corners. But to help it stand out a little more, I'm just running around the outside with a piece of sponge and a bit more evergreen ink, and that will just help it be a bit more defined up there. So the chickens are going to also cover a few corners, but I just want them to have a little sparkle. So I used my clear shimmer brush, which got a bit overexcited at being used after so long in the drawer. So I'm just wiping off the excess with a paper towel, and that works fine because it gets rid of the brush effects and just gives us a nice sparkle to the chickens. And our chickens are Orpingtons, so they are black, and they are very healthy, so they do shine. So I'm very happy with the way they turned out. I'm just adding some journaling strips here, and you can see on the left of the journaling strips where there's a corner of lots of ends and things. So bringing in one of these chickens just covers that all up and sort of brings it all together. And I've got a little bit of green grass that I cut out on the cricket, and that just gives her somewhere to land. On the other side, I'll add a couple more journaling strips, and again using the chickens because I've got one that faces each way, and I'll add them to each end of the journaling strips, and you can see how it just kind of blends everything together quite nicely. Then I'll add some journaling. So I've got 3 or 4 different places where I can add some journaling. So it gets the story covered of how we built this chook house. Some of the parts were very heavy, I can tell you. So then when the journaling's all done, it's time to add some embellishments. Now I don't really think this is a flowery type layout, so I'm keeping the embellishments very simple with just a few dots and the odd heart here and there. Thank you for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I do recommend you look at the other videos in the playlist. There'll be loads of inspiration. If you have subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. It's truly appreciated. If not, I'd love to have you on board. In the end, I used just a couple of pieces from the Hope and Kindness die cut pack, so that was pretty cool. Alright everybody, thanks for watching and happy crafting!